The time period is actually kind of important too, even if you can't pinpoint just when this stuff is from. You know, there's a distinctive style going on here, and it's important later on when we see more of the facility. But just keep in mind that this is maybe 80s or 90s sort of technology.
Some emergency testing may require prolonged interaction with lethal military androids. Rest assured that all lethal military androids have been taught to read and provided with one copy of the Laws of Robotics to share.
Right, so they're talking about military androids. Anyway, so this is I guess the second time that we've had to use a portal to get past an obstacle. The first one was back there, when we first got the portal gun. And so now, you know, we came up here, we can't jump that height, but we can use the portal to bypass it. And here we get to figure out that you can go the other way as well. You know, use a pre-made portal as an entrance.
If you feel that a lethal military android has not respected your rights as detailed in the Laws of Robotics, please note it on your self-reporting form. A future Aperture Science Entitlement Associate will initiate the appropriate grievance filing paperwork.
Lethal military android not respecting your rights. They'll file a grievance report. It's funny. I think it's funny still. Actually, let's just keep going. So fairly basic stuff so far. And even that, like, you can see just how messed up the place is and how much rubbish is accumulating in the infrastructure. So there's a lot of things they're doing to tell you about the backstory and what's going on, and setting the scene. And you know, the announcer, on the one hand, they'd saying kind of funny things about how ridiculous it is that, you know, if a lethal military android doesn't respect your rights, you can file a complaint. that's silly, but at the same time, that's how Aperture Science is. Like, it's a ridiculous place. And you're getting to understand that as you play through the game. So it's both...
This next test is very dangerous. To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
And that as well, obviously. And then it fails. So it's humorous, but it's also telling you the character of the place. And oh, it's not gonna light up. And this. Let's see, does that still drop? It does. So we can still use the cube to put onto the button to get through. Oh, that's changed, I see. So you can't put a portal through there. Remember in the first game, the glass was intact, and if it wasn't, you could have just, you know, put a portal down on the other side of the door and then use this to bypass the door. But they've actually changed it this time, so that there's a emancipation grill on the other side, and you can't put a portal beyond it. Yeah, there you can't do any of that stuff. That's interesting. You know, that's, you know, according to the story, it's just broken and old, right? But in terms of gameplay and puzzle design, they've mixed it up a little bit. And you only notice that, of course, if you're playing through this after the first game. That's interesting. That light is still there. Was that on the first button? I'm sure it wasn't. Anyway, the symbol for putting the cube on the button is there. The clue as to what to do. So, okay, let's keep going. Again, a repetition of the puzzle in the first game. And this as well. The one where you have to put 2 cubes on. Let me see. Most of that is still the same. There's still the second cube here. And I'll just solve it. I mean, I'm not gonna spend too much time saying things that I've already said in the first playthrough. And if you haven't watched that, maybe you really should, because I'm actually skipping. Like, you know, I'm not explaining the puzzle design as much because this is a repetition of the first
Great
game.
work. Because this message is pre-recorded, any observations related to your performance are speculation on our part. Please disregard any undeserved compliments.
Please disregard any undeserved compliments. It's quite good. I mean, I'm still chuckling, even though it's... Wow, the whole screen shakes when a portal opens. Like, they really... Like, you know, the clues are really obvious. Like, they really make sure that you know when something's happening. What's going on there? I see. That's what I look like from the top. And that just breaks the glass. Huh. I think this is... No, it's not. So what's up here then? I was saying that maybe that thing was locked on that side. Let's just check this. Oh, this is the first... Well, I guess it's not the first. The second graffiti thing? Place? Easter egg? Place? I don't know what to call these. A cat jumping over the moon. Unreason. Some mathematical formulas. Formulae. A cube as a cat. Cat and cube. I don't know if these equations mean anything. I'm not that good at math. I don't know if there's any hidden jokes in this. Like if it's some sort of pun or Easter egg or whatever. Oh, the cat's jumping out of that. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. There might be a joke in there, but I'm not nerdy enough to know what it is. Remember your evacuation training service announcement. The ground rolls out, and then they start walking, and then that guy there is out of tune with the others. I don't know. Not sure about that one. So we're going through these pretty quickly. So I guess there's not that much information being conveyed. And I don't have too much to say about the architecture neither, because I mean, I've said everything at the start. It's the plants, it's the broken down
If the
stuff.
enrichment center is currently being bombarded with fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space, please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not appear to be a deliberate part of the test.
Huh. I don't remember that one. Space debris. Yeah, and the puzzle designs, I mean, it's still the same puzzles from the first game, so there's not much to say about that as well. It's still teaching you the same things. What's that sound? Something. So there's the portal there, and there's the white surface. Oh, this is new? Is this a new puzzle? It is a new puzzle. I see. Let's see, there's the symbol. Drop the cube. Wait a minute, why is that? Oh, the cube's there, I see. So that drops the cube there, and... Can I get up there? No, I can't, not yet. Anyway. That's actually a bit obscure. I guess there's a line on the ground telling you where it is dropping. But, you know, that's quite subtle. You wouldn't really see that. I wonder why they didn't put more lights there. Or, you know, make that a bit more obvious. But anyway, there it is. And there's the white surface underneath it, which provides us with a cube for the button. Yeah, I guess they're really relying on these colored dots to show you where the things are being activated. So that's being activated there, staircase. This is the first time we've met this, isn't it? The fact that a button can raise a staircase. Yeah, it is. I mean, this is the part of the new puzzles. I mean, did we have this in the first game? No, there was more elevators in the first game. I think we had a few, but not quite like this. Let's see. That does that. That's the first timer of the game, I believe. And again, there's a ticking sound to tell you that it's a timer. Right, and then there's that, dropping the cube. I don't know about this. It seems like it's not quite as well designed as the first game, because just look at what I'm doing here. If I'm standing here and I'm pressing the button, you don't see that thing. If you remember in the first game, a lot of times when you're looking at a button and pressing it, you will see the thing being activated on screen. You know, you see it in the same glance. But here it's off screen. Actually, I don't know if that's bad puzzle design or if they're deliberately doing that to train you to start getting used to the idea that things won't always happen in sight. And maybe especially to train you to follow these lines, to look at things that are out of sight. In fact, I think that's more likely. Yeah, now that I think about it. I mean, remember how this goes out of sight, so you know, they really encourage you to follow the line. And here again, you know, the line takes it out of sight, so maybe they're doing that on purpose. I think it makes sense that they're doing it on purpose to make it so that you really get used to the idea that, you know, not everything's gonna happen in the same room or in the same space. And it is important later on as well, because the puzzles do get more complicated. And there's a timing puzzle. That's how you get through it. Although I guess, you know, if you don't realize that and you just drop the cube, yeah, that's quite obvious. Although, is it obvious? It's kind of quiet. I mean, if you just do that, yeah, like it's quite easy to miss just what happened to the cube if you're not paying attention. I don't know, maybe it's a bit advanced. You know, the fact that you have to follow these lines and the timed puzzle and the fact that you have to pay attention to where the cubes are going. It is a bit advanced. And we are only in the 5th chamber? Yeah, number 5. Remember in the first game, like, number 5 was not this complicated.
Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone. All Aperture Science personality constructs will remain functional in apocalyptic, low-power environments of as few as 1.1 volts.
All personality constructs will remain functional in low power 1.1 volts. That's... well, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And let's just say for now that I really appreciate it when they set up stories or jokes really early on. Like if they'll tell the first part of the joke at the start of the game, and then they'll tell the punchline at the end. And then when you hear the punchline, you think back and then you realize just how big the joke is. Or they keep talking about it and you don't realize that it's meant to be funny until you hit it. I appreciate that sort of thing, you know. Or, you know, they tell a joke at the end and you don't even remember, and then you play the game through the second time and then you realize the subtle cues early on in the game. I like that. Like it's a sign that they've really thought about the story a lot, and they're really taking a lot of care with the storytelling, that they're able to maintain the jokes and the themes, you know, across the time span of the game.